So guys, welcome to the garage. Today we finally got the C34 from WPL. This is the brand new Toyota FJ40 and this is the full metal version. They do 3 versions currently. They've got the full metal kit, which is this one. They've got the stock kit, which is like your generic WPLs, mainly plastic parts. And then there's a ready to run version that's just been released. I'm not sure what electronics that comes with because I've not got it here to test. Anyway, this was meant to be here a few weeks ago, but there was issues with it coming out of Hong Kong, so they sent me another one. Lucky for you, now we're reviewing this now, you can buy it. If you've been watching this video a few weeks ago, you wouldn't be able to buy this because it hadn't been released. However, it's now available. There's some links in the description to this metal one. There's also a link to the stock one and the ready to run, and I'll stick the electronics I've used in this as well, because the kit doesn't come with your ESC, transmitter or receiver. So as the name suggests, this is metal, and that meaning that all the drivetrain on this one is full metal. Metal axle casings, metal gears in there, metal drive shafts, you've got metal gears in that gearbox. This new gearbox is going to be awesome for an upgrade. Look at the clearance on that. It literally sits level with the chassis on this, loads of ground clearance. So you've got metal gears, it's a plastic case, but you've got metal gears within there. You've got a 370 reduction gearbox on that motor, metal shaft at the front, and all your suspension links. It's even got a panhard bar on the front there as well. And the steering angle on this thing is insane. Look at that. When I say this is a game changer, I mean this is a game changer. This costs less than $100 for this full metal version. You show me a trail truck like this, 1/12 scale, it's listed as 1/16, but the chassis is like the 1/16 scale chassis they use, but the actual truck is more 1/12. You find me a 1/12 hard body kit, full metal underneath, that will cost you less than $100. I doubt you'll find one. Some really nice detail on here. The hood, the bonnet opens, and that's where your battery and your, well, I've got my receiver in there. You don't have to put your receiver in there, but you've got a lot of space in there. Opening doors, some nice scale stuff. You've got foot pedals in there and your shifters. The seats move forward and backwards, so you can move the seat forward and backwards as well in there. A couple of cup holders, and then a couple of bench seats in the back. The ESC I've got in here is one of the ones I use in all my rigs. It's a little 20 amp brushed ESC. There's a link to that in the description. More than capable of powering this motor, and it's running with a 7.4 volt lithium ion, which comes as stock on most of the WPLs now. Little 500 milliamp hour one. Could probably do with a bit of a larger capacity to give it an extra run time, but I've been running this fine. Right, let's talk about a couple of things I'm not too impressed with. The main one being the tyres. So the old kit tyres from WPL were really soft, really nice and soft. You could almost say too soft, but these, however, these are a bit more like the ready to run ones, and they're not all that soft. So I'm not overly impressed with the compound of these tyres. I like the scale look of the wheels and tyres. I'm just not keen on that compound. So that's the first thing I don't really like. The second thing that caught me out, actually, because the instructions I think aren't quite right, so I will let WPL know. If you look at the pumpkins on the axles, front and rear, they're actually in the same position. Now, as far as I'm aware, that should always be the opposite. So that should be that side with the drive shaft going across there, and the other one should be flipped around, or vice versa, I can't remember. But anyway, these are in the same position. And initially when I built it, I had the axle flipped over, and of course the front wheels went backwards, the back wheels went forwards, and I had to flip it that way. I'm pretty sure the instructions show this on the other side over here, so the axle flipped, but there's no way around it other than putting it that way. So maybe a slight error, nothing major, but something to be aware of. Something else to be aware of that was a little bit of extra work, the output shaft for the gearbox on one side. I think it might be that side. There's no flat spot for the drive shaft to go on, so I had to get the Dremel out and make my own flat spot on there. But again, not a major issue, just something, a little attention to detail that could have saved me a little bit of time. And the final thing, which isn't really a complaint, suspension at the front's a little bit stiff. I mean, the back's fine. The back's got quite a nice bit of flex there, not too bad. The front, with all the links and the panhard bar in there, it's just a little bit stiffer than the back. And again, not a massive complaint, but thought worth mentioning just so you know when you get it that there's a few improvements that can be made. But overall, this thing is awesome. So something to bear in mind with this full metal version, I did hear a slight rumour, got no, I can't back it up with any evidence, that these metal versions are not making them that much profit, so they may discontinue them. WPL kindly sent me this direct from their factory, so I really appreciate that. However, I have bought another one, which I will probably build and leave on the shelf. If they discontinue these, it will be a shame. There is no way you can upgrade one of the stock plastic ones with all these metal parts. You cannot upgrade them for the extra $50 this costs. $50 extra for all that metal on there, all that upgrades. Really good deal. If you're considering one, get the metal version if you can afford it. I'm sure the stock version will be fine as well, but if you can afford it, definitely recommend this full metal version. Anyway, I'm going to take this for a full run. We'll take it over the sand, mud, that little boggy area, my usual spot for testing out the terrain. I'm going to give this a full test. There'll be a video of that shortly, but for now, cheers for watching. I hope that gave you a little bit more of an insight into the C34, and this is definitely #1 on my list now of the small scale trucks that I've got. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you next time. See if it can crawl through. I think already the answer is yes. This might not be the best terrain for it, but oh, we got a wheel out.